Hey everybody, welcome back to the LoFi Kingdom. Today we are watching Caleb do a Dracula turn.
It's true.
No, that's not what you're here for. You're here to talk about the wars. Which wars exactly?
Star Trek
The
Wars.
Star Trek Wars. No.
Excited, dude. I was here for Star Wars.
Yeah, oh, okay. Well, you came to the right place, man.
Yeah.
That's Rick.
Yeah.
Say hi, Rick.
Me.
We got
Hi.
Lisa here today.
Hello.
We got Caleb.
I'm back again.
He's back again. When did he leave?
He's back.
And we're here to do a little spoiler
Spoilers.
Mega
spoiler
spoilers.
discussion
Mega
Spoiler
spoilers.
discussion.
on on the latest Star Wars. In case you've been living under a rock,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We had Force Awakens.
Correct.
We had Last Jedi, right? And then we had in between that we had Rogue One. And we had Solo.
So would these be considered the sequel trilogies, right?
Yes.
I consider them the sequels. There's the originals, the prequels, and the sequels.
Okay.
Oh,
I like that. I like
okay,
that. We'll use
okay. I like that. We're making that canon.
Is that
I'm
important?
making that canon. No, it's not important.
Sorry. Just in case.
Yeah, yeah,
So
okay.
the sequels then. So this completes the sequels.
This completes. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the
Saga.
sequels.
This
That's
completes the saga.
This
the
completes
sequel.
this trilogy, the
And-
next chapter in the Star Wars saga, Episode 9.
That freaked me out when I saw the Roman numeral for that. I was like 10, 1.
My 10 minus the 1. Like just.
Carry the 3. Yeah, no, that freaked me
Let me
out.
get y'all's overall feels, man. What'd y'all think overall before we dive into it? Just just real quick. If you could tell me real quick without getting into it, real fast.
Go
It's
ahead.
fine. I think it's fine.
All right.
It's yeah.
Rick? Or Lisa?
Well,
I know, I was like,
Sorry. It's because Rick was looking at
I
me.
was mostly on the verge of falling asleep.
Okay. Rick?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice family movie. So I liked it.
Okay.
Overall, I liked it.
Yeah. That's good, man. I was like, okay, it's fine. But there's I think those things we'll get into it as to, maybe why it wasn't the best of the three. I think overall it got the lowest review scores compared to the other two.
Yes.
Which actually Last Jedi had higher than Force Awakens, which I did not know.
Yeah.
Even though
Critics
it was
liked that one.
Yeah, even though it was like the most divisive,
Yeah.
especially for the Star Wars nerds. Which I don't consider honestly. I like Star Wars, but I'm not a hardcore. Like
yeah, I'm a casual.
yeah,
Okay, I'd say I'm a little bit more than that.
yeah.
Wait,
Sounded
more,
like-
more than.
It sounded like your Pepito voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a little bit more than just because I grew up on Star Wars, man. I f***ing love Star Wars, and I would read the lore. I read some of the novels. I would read up on the comics, and the wiki pages I would go through and all that.
Oh.
So, but yeah, I like Star Wars.
Yeah.
I would
I
say
wouldn't-
I'm a little
I
bit
don't-
less than you.
I really I
wouldn't-
thought you were gonna be like where Rick was because you
Well,
like.
Well,
you
I
know,
haven't done all the wiki stuff, and I know a
He's
lot of
done-
stuff.
But he's done most of the like
comics
Clone
and
War
stuff.
stuff and
I didn't
the
know you followed all that.
the Resistance stuff, all that stuff. I don't know any of that.
Yeah, I
so
thought
my
Caleb was
stuff is
totally
more-
a cash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
He's
stuff is
more
more
than
back
us.
and expanded lore that is now f***ing useless.
Oh.
Well, let me tell you, my gripes with this movie is mostly going to be non-Star Wars canon arguments. It's just more about like story threads
I have a little bit
not
of both.
lining up and stuff like
I
that,
have
character
both.
motivations. But yeah, no, I figured it could maybe be a little bit of both. Caleb, why don't you take us through it, man?
Yeah, man.
Take us through it, like
Take
scene
us
by
through it.
scene.
No, just
Oh my god!
So it starts off. The dead has spoken, which I thought. Oh, so that's one thing. I didn't like the crawl text. It was kind of weird.
yeah, it was kind
The dead
of
has spoken.
sparse.
Like, hey guys, I'm here. Emperor just letting everyone know.
Yeah.
Instead of first complaint.
Yeah.
Why not just sneak attack them? But there's, hey guys, I'm coming. Come look for me, and then I'll come attack you. That's what the Emperor did.
Yeah.
So that's the first scene. Kylo and the Emperor. One of my big gripes.
Crepes.
One of my big gripes is that they don't explain the Emperor like at all. They're just like, he's back. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
So were they cloning him, or what was the bodies in those vats?
That was the Snoke bodies.
Right, those were
bodies.
Snoke bodies,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
But we know cloning's a thing because of Clone Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been around since then.
Yeah.
He can probably reproduce the tech and shit.
So my question is, obviously, Rian Johnson killed off Snoke in Ryan Johnson.
It's Ryan,
Oh,
bro.
that was Rian.
Rian.
Ryan Johnson killed off Snoke in the last one, and obviously it feels very ham-fisted, like they had to bring in some other big bad because Snoke's gone.
Well, yes, this feels like, because JJ did Force Awakens, Ryan Johnson did
Yeah.
Last Jedi, and then JJ again. This feels like a sequel to The Force Awakens, and or like screw all Last Jedi stuff.
that
Like
was
we're
the
doing
whole
our own thing.
that season.
I mean, but
movie
it's
felt
almost
like
like
two
he's
movies.
there's still a lot of loose ends in Last Jedi that he had to work around, right? Like the Snoke thing, for a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
If-
did they not have any f***ing communication when
That's
doing
the,
this?
that's the big
I bet they didn't.
That's the big complaint, because that's why I didn't like The Last Jedi, because it derailed from Force Awakens so much.
Real hard.
I was like, nope, like at every turn. You're like, okay. So then JJ's trying to like go back in his little direction, like, oh, there has to be a big bad, and I don't know, they have to fight at the end, and you have to know her parentage, and like he's trying to do all the things he set up. It kind of, yeah.
It feels like if Ryan
But
Johnson,
yeah, no, there was no communication. I agree. That's my biggest complaint.
I think if he hadn't killed off Snoke, obviously the big bad in this one would have been Snoke.
Yeah.
And so my question is, well, if they already had, vats of clone Snokes, why not have already another Snoke that was there? And why bring back the Emperor? It feels stupid. Like, if you're already there, you're already saying
It's the last order. We had the first one, and now we have the last order.
you already have the vats of clones, right?
But
Yeah.
who was making the vats of clones, right?
what do you
those
mean?
are-
You don't say.
They're cultists, right? Acolytes, he said.
I guess so.
They
That's
were-
not explained either.
Yeah, well, he said acolytes have been there. So he's got a bunch of people devoted to fucking Sithness, right? And
Yeah.
they're just drones.
Yeah, I
Like
guess.
Oh, so
mindless
they're not like
drones.
really.
No, they're like people, but like mindless drones. Kind of like they're just following his fucking bidding.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all die. They make it a point to show us that they all die.
Yeah.
They're like
Yes.
crumbling fall. These guys are just gonna stand there like, oh fuck, we're all dead.
Oh, like
Let's
what
close
is
it up.
Cersei from Game of Thrones.
So, if anything, that feels like the most like, we're just going to put a Band-Aid on what he did here and hope people are okay with it. And
Yeah.
like, no, I was not okay with
This
it.
I was
last
not
movie
okay
was
with
like improv, like coming off of the second one because it derailed so much on that one, and they were like, "Yes, that works, and we're gonna go this way with this," and that's all they did.
Which sucks because when they were starting to kind of show that, like, hey, we got Harrison Ford back in this, Carrie Fisher's in, and they did like a group
Mark
photo.
Hamill, they said,
Mark
like,
Hamill. They did
everyone's
those
back.
group photos of like, hey, everyone who matters is here. They did these like black and white photos, like real dramatic, official, just showing everyone together, like, hey, we're here, we're forming a plan.
See, I feel like they were doing the same shit with Game of Thrones, right? Where they're like, we have to just hit these fucking check boxes, right? They're like, well, we got to get the original fucking cast back, right? Because that's what everyone's gonna want, right? So we got to fan service that.
Yes.
So, all right, let's get them all back in there. We'll put fucking Han Solo back in there, not as a Force ghost, right? So, man, okay. I had a lot of problems with this movie, dude. I had a lot of fucking problems with this movie, dude.
Please, let's talk about them. I
lot.
want to talk this
A
stuff
lot
out.
of fucking problems.
Let's start going through.
We're gonna talk about all right.
Okay, so right.
Go ahead.
Well, my first one was between Poe and Finn. You know how the banter that they have when they're like shooting out and they're
Yeah.
having in that early part of the scene, like that didn't feel natural to me.
No.
No, I didn't. Their back and forth didn't feel. It felt forced. It felt kind of like, just whatever and whatever response, fucking whatever. It meant right. Like it's not kind of like with Luke and Han where you had their character build up.
Yeah.
You know, because now every f***ing scene was an action scene, was a fight scene.
Yeah.
There was hardly any build up. I don't really care about Rosie or what the she's
Rose
doing.
Tico?
I don't care.
I don't
about
think Jane did either. That's why he was like, let's just go put her to the side.
Dude,
He's like, I don't care
mean,
about her.
Okay, and then what happened to Captain Phasma? Right, so she's
She
dead.
died.
So
She
she's
died.
dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, she's
dead.
dead.
So she was nothing.
Yeah,
She was jack.
yeah,
She was just eye candy,
She's just like Boba Fett.
like the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, I wanted to talk about that too.
So Knights of Ren come out and they look all badass.
They look
with
cool.
their
I was like, dude, these are Knights of Ren.
We got medieval weapons.
Yeah.
They hyped them up and everything. So fucking kick ass.
Did they do
They have
comics
a
of
they have a
them?
shot where they're up
I
there
don't
in the
know.
fucking rules. You know.
Little cinematic.
Yeah, like they're all posing at the
Yeah.
edge of a
Fucking
cliff.
like, oh, these guys are the shit. Right? And then they do nothing, dude.
The
Yeah.
entire
Their
movie.
swords their weapons did jack shit.
They didn't even give them a scene where they're doing cool stuff.
No.
They just look cool the entire time.
And then Kylo just whoops their asses. Of
Yeah.
course,
Like
because
nothing.
he trained them. Right?
like nothing. Not
of
even
course, because he trained them,
no
right?
no kind of resistance.
Who else are we?
No pun intended.
So that was upsetting with Knights of Ren.
Well, and
that was a big letdown.
I think that was a big problem. That's another thing with the plan because I think JJ set him up in Force Awakens. Say, let's set this group up, and we'll use them in future movies.
Right.
Ryan Johnson literally did nothing with them. Like they weren't even spoken about. Like
They were separated.
so, then JJ's like, "Well, what the heck?" I
the
said
Royal
these.
Guard was who I thought the Knights of Ren were at first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wait. I was like, so the Knights of Ren were just like what Royal Guards who are just Knights of Ren, but then
Yeah.
they're like, oh no, that's not them, and I'm like, what? And then we see them here, and I'm like, this is the guys.
Well, because I think he wanted to
These
set
are
them
the
up.
guys.
And then he was the third movie. He was like, well, I have nothing to do with them, but I set them up and I wanted to pay them off, so I'm just gonna throw
You know
them
what
away.
it feels like? It feels like they had some cool off comic or off book moments, and that they came out here, and you're supposed to be like, wow.
I don't know. I don't think they ever did. Actually,
No, they
They
didn't.
never did anything.
That's what
like
I feel like. If that
comics.
maybe that's how you remedy this. You want to remedy Knights of Ren? You do some other fucking comic book, make them look badass, and then you have Kylo kill him, and then it's cool. Whatever.
I guess.
But
But
yeah,
then-
show me someone who they've whooped ass before, right? Otherwise, they're just fucking stormtroopers.
Yeah.
yeah, essentially. But again, I
with
feel
no
like he had
blasters.
nothing else to do with them. So he's like, well, it's the third movie. I can't set them up anymore, so I just need to kill them. And so that's what he did. He's like, well, I already set it up, so I need to pay it off somehow. So yeah.
Very disappointing. That was very disappointing to me.
I don't like Rey.
Okay.
And because she's OP. Like, she's literally OP. Like, she's never lost a fight. She's always had, like, no problem doing anything. The new force healing, I don't like either.
Oh,
I
force
kind of
healing.
hate it.
Let's talk about the force healing.
The force healing, yeah, it was set
Okay,
up in
so introduced in
Mandalorian. Which that one, I was like, okay, if
that
the
made
Yoda
sense because
species-
it's a Yoda species,
yeah,
right?
they're supposed to
I
be
forget
like
their name.
super mega powerful, right?
Yes,
According
they're
to
supposed
Mandalorian.
to like have more of the Force in them
Yeah.
than any other species innately.
Which I was like, okay, if anyone's gonna do it, I'm okay with Baby Yoda doing it.
Yes, I'm
right?
okay with Baby Yoda doing Force healing.
Also, like, if it was a minor wound, okay, I get that, right?
Yeah,
but
even Baby Yoda.
that's
was
what I
like,
thought. That's why I was like more okay with it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, hey, it's like
it was
a little
scratches,
like,
right?
yeah.
And he was like,
But this is like, oh,
No,
you're
no
like
poison.
fatally wounded. You don't. I got you, bro. Here's
Well,
a, you know.
It
Yeah.
sounded like a Full Metal Alchemist kind of thing. Like, oh, I gotta give my
but
life.
I mean, okay, but,
know?
but she's a
guess.
Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
So she's
So that's
got
the other thing.
I
she's
know,
got
but, like-
Palpatine strength, but then what other Palpatine besides the Emperor do we know?
None.
Exactly.
Well, but here's my other problem. If Palpatine was super powerful and she got the power, why didn't her parents have the power?
Well, her
well,
dad
we don't
did,
know. They didn't.
right?
Exactly.
Or
Stupid.
because it was the son, right?
Yeah.
So the mom, I guess, doesn't really need to have.
Yeah, oh, that's true. The
father.
son, the father. Yeah.
If it was
Women
the
don't
daughter,
mean nothing. It's just a man.
No. If it was
No,
the
no, I'm
daughter
kidding,
of the
I'm kidding.
Emperor, then it would be the same. And the man wouldn't matter.
But the point of her having like stronger force powers because she's a Palpatine, like, oh, well, that explains why she's powerful. But the whole message of the movie is like, family is not the most important thing. You know, there's stronger things than blood. It totally goes against that.
Yeah, because the whole thing they've been touting the entire 8 episodes before
Right.
that was, oh, it's Skywalkers, the blood, it's in the family, and they're strong Jedi.
yeah, because
and-
it's supposed to be kind of like old medievally kind of, right?
Well, even because Anakin was like
Straightforward.
was like a Jesus, like he was born from the Force, right? So naturally he could be more powerful. Like I could buy into that. His family lineage is more powerful because he was born of the Force.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense. Again,
Yeah,
I never
same.
assumed Palpatine was the mega Sith. I thought
No.
he was smart and he got through things.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously he was strong, but he wasn't like a Yoda Sith. I never
Yeah,
pictured
I mean,
that.
his whole power, I felt, Palpatine's edge to me was always his more force manipulation than anything else.
Yeah.
Right? Where he was very charismatic. He won over the Senate. He did the right moves, and
Yeah.
he won power through that way.
Yeah.
You know, not through raw strength of using the Force.
Yeah, until
right?
like the third
that's
episode.
That's more Vader.
Yeah.
Vader used more of the Force to solve his problems and where Palpatine was more cunning and like that. It was,
It's more like influential.
Huge difference. Yeah, exactly. And then, that's why he was like the smarter one. And you got intelligence and strength there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now saying that the Palpatine bloodline has like a lot of potency is a little weird.
Yeah.
If that's what they're trying to say.
That's what it feels like, because she
Right.
was strong since The Force Awakens. She was using the mind control. She beat Kylo when she first held the lightsaber ever.
Yeah.
I don't know what other things she did in The Force Awakens. I think she just sensed things. But yeah, I was like you're already doing things, and like,
Do you think that they knew from the start that's who she was going to be?
No.
You think they just kind of...
I think that we.
Dude, I felt like... Man, can I tell you how I wish this movie ended?
Yeah, man.
Okay? I wish this movie had ended, since we're on the whole Palpatine thing, and this was kind of the end of my rants. But, towards the end of the movie here, like, I wish it would have ended with her in the belly bump. Right? Having the baby.
Which one?
Having a baby. Having Kylo's baby.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Now, how do we do that? They haven't right? But... Right? So, It's true. They haven't so how is she pregnant? Well, she's hurt. Kylo does his Force heal, right?
What? And gets her pregnant?
Well, he basically gives his entire
Life
life
force.
force and essence to her
I would have
as
bought
he
that.
dies.
I would have bought that.
So, that, having her, being impregnated from that,
Space Jesus.
comes
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Comes back to Immaculate Birth. Right?
That seems a little far.
That's being impregnated by the Force.
That's like past due.
That's being impregnated by the Force.
No, because that's being impregnated
It's
by
Force
someone.
seed.
Well, no, because that means every time I give my
I
life.
foreseed you.
But that's the thing.
But it kills me. You know?
But every time I give my life
like a
force to
bee.
somebody, I'm giving them my seed as well. That's what you're saying. Every time I give my life force, I'm giving my seed.
It's his whole life essence. It's more of a metaphor than a literal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that.
I don't know. I don't buy that. No, that's
I would have been
so
happier
weird.
that
That's a little
way
too much.
than her turning around and saying, I'm a Skywalker. Well, me too, bitch. So what? We're all Skywalkers, then no one's a Skywalker. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what?
Well,
That bothered me.
yeah, same. I agree.
I
Well,
would have been happier with her turning around the two sons and she has the belly bump with her little thing.
That's weird.
And she's
That's
got
so
a
weird.
lightsaber.
I don't
right?
know if I don't like that
Immediately,
anymore.
like 6 months pregnant.
No. Well, okay, time's passed, obviously.
Yeah.
Because she's
that's-
there in the wherever the she was at, Tatooine.
That's a little. I don't know. That's a little too far.
That would have made me happier than this ending.
Okay, see, my other issue with that whole transferring of the life force and it killing him off, like, okay, Luke and Leia, they did it at the very end to give their last kind of breath.
And then they're there, like, we raised you. We're their Force Ghost parents. Skywalker! F*** you, man! You're gonna give it to the orphans, man? No!
How I would have changed the ending? Probably Rey should have stayed dead, and then Kylo from there just goes on, moves on, lives a happier, redeemed life.
Yeah, because she's too OP. She should just die.
Yeah.
I like her, but I don't know. I feel
But
like
she
there's no
doesn't
place
ever
for her in there.
struggle,
She's not
except
likable,
like okay. The only scene I liked was when she fell down. They both fell down, and all the Jedi are speaking to her. And I was like, oh, I actually really like that scene.
Dude, that's like
Here,
it's
Qui-
like one for all.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I immediately thought that's like one for all quirk from My Hero Academia. There's a hero whose power, like, essentially is like that, where it's like everyone who's ever owned that power kind of.
But I don't like that either, though.
Well, okay, well, whatever. Can kind of like not really speak to them, but it's kind of like
Whoa.
they like give you
Strength.
their strength, their
Well, I thought
power.
it was like Avatar, like the Last Airbender kind of thing, like with the avatars before him. You know?
See, I mean,
Oh,
like,
okay, a little bit of that too.
like
yeah.
Palpatine kind of made sense for a bit because he was like, "Kill me," and then they're like, "Why? Why do you want to die?" Right? And it's always like, "Yeah, why would anyone fucking want that?" And then he explains, because I have all the Sith living in me. You fucking kill me, then I live within you. It's immortality. We get passed on. It's one for all, right? It basically is what he's saying. He's like,
Yeah.
you kill me, and then I get absorbed into you, and then you have all of our Sith masters living within
I thought
you.
because of her hatred, then she would have all the.
Well, that's part of the
Like a
ritual.
metaphor?
She has to do it out of hate and everything, right?
Yeah,
Right, right.
And then it gets transferred into her, and then he lives within her, right?
Sure.
And then Kylo shows up, and he's like, "Oh, never mind. Protect myself." What? That's what you wanted. Let him kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very true.
I thought we were talking about the end. I was confused, though.
Well, I mean, it's toward the end. So.
Towards the end.
So I was gonna go back to what I was saying real quick.
Oh yeah.
About them transferring life force. Like I feel like Luke and Leia did it at the end of their life span, right? And that's why they became like they're just like, I'm giving you the rest of my force. I'm dying off.
I have another thing about Leia
Okay,
doing that.
hold on, wait.
Oh.
And so I felt them transferring life force to each other was kind of dumb because they're still young, especially her having so much force strength to begin with.
Yeah.
Like I didn't buy it that she was like dying in that moment.
So, okay. Before I get to my other point,
Yeah.
let's talk about Leia. Okay, so Luke was supposed to be chosen one, right? And then Yoda always says that, or
There's
Yoda had
another.
said that there was another.
There's another.
Referring to Leia, right? We've never really seen Leia's powers. We've never really known Leia's powers because they don't really talk about it too much.
Yeah.
Right? But my understanding was that Leia was more force, kind of like the Emperor, where it was more like force manipulation and force stuff like that. More force sensitivity, not really swordsman type, Where Luke was more kind of like Anakin, where he was more of the swordsman type.
Yeah.
The more of the stronger power build,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like them being twins and them being basically that.
Yeah, okay.
The intelligence and the brute, And so I could kind of buy that when she's doing the, she's out in space and then she
Mary
fucking-
Poppins.
Yeah,
like-
she Mary Poppins back into the ship. Okay, because Leia's a little bit more in the Force that way than she is swordsman type.
Yeah.
So I'll buy that. Now, when she dies here, this is coming back to my argument now. Is it more because she was like, oh, she's got to go prepare. She needs all her f***ing strength. She knows what she's got to do. So she walks into that room and she takes her shit off, whatever. She lays down. She gets ready to f***ing die. So in that moment when Kylo's with Rey, was it her just saying like, hey, and then just kind of swaying him? Or was it more of like manipulation, possession?
No, I don't think so. Because that sounds more like Sith type of stuff.
Well,
I think it was more like the
my-
Force FaceTime.
argument for this though, the only reason because initially I thought that, but the only reason I think it's this way is because for her to use all her strength to just send him a message and just for him to be like, okay, that's it. I'm done, right? No. What I think could have happened is she uses all her fucking strength. She's force manipulating him. She projects Han Solo there and helps. She's fucking with his head, turning him to the light side, but not really willingly. It's more forcibly turning him to the light. And she's maintaining that the entire fucking time because even as she's dead, her body's still there. It's only when Kylo Ren dies that she fades away at the same moment he fades away. Was it her maintaining her force power on him that entire time and then them dying at the same time, it is now gone? Did she force him, manipulate him, force possession, Kylo Ren, into the light, and that was her contribution to the fucking whatever this or whatever? Or is it she used all her strength to just barely say that, and then he on his own was tripping out, seeing his dad, talking to himself, and then realizes that on his own, and then does everything.
I think it's the second one. Because, because first of all, it's like 3 new force powers you just made up all at once. And
hey, man, this is the last fucking movie, and
No,
the way they're writing all this I don't know, man.
I think it's the second one. It really is the second one. Because it's like, it's just been...
How else can you explain her body still being there the whole time, though?
I mean, she's dying. She didn't, do a full Luke Skywalker where she was,
why did she die at the same
time?
There. Huh? Why did she just fucking die in force fade after she
There's a lot of things I don't know why they did in this movie. I can't... So I don't want to give him that much credit. And that's a lot of things that, you're assuming. You're just thinking... You're thinking really into it.
Right.
Because... There's
I'm
no
just using what they've presented to me.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because there's no, really explanation. It's just oh, this just happens and this happens. Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
And then,
that's
you have to assume, oh, well, maybe they're doing this and that happens. That's just, I don't think they thought that far into it. I really don't. Really don't. And I think they would have explained it, too. And also, it's 3 new force powers you presented. I'm like, I don't know if we can start doing that, projecting dead people and saying old conversations that I wasn't ready for.
Let's talk about a weird force power they introduced.
You want to talk about weird force powers?
Let's transfer stuff through our minds.
Okay, no, not only that. You want to talk about, now we're talking about manipulating old force powers. So, you take Luke Skywalker as a fucking force ghost, and now he can mess with physical objects into the world.
Yeah.
When the has a force ghost ever
The Last
interacted?
Jedi. Yoda did the lightning. In The Last Jedi, Yoda shows up and...
But that's what? Him summoning the Force still? He's not interacting with things, but he's not touching things. He's not grabbing an object.
It's true.
You know?
But he does do Force lightning.
It's not like he can go and play basketball, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Luke Skywalker can.
Yeah.
Because Luke Skywalker can interact with the world, right?
Yeah.
So as a Force ghost, he can do shit.
Yeah, which is weird.
So he's basically immortal.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's stupid.
Right?
It's stupid.
This movie's stupid.
No, yeah, because that's what we're saying now. Is it only Luke or is it all Force ghosts? Because the only other thing we've seen Ben as a Force ghost sit down. Sorry, Obi-Wan, right? He sat down on a thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was him sitting, but I'm assuming that's not really interaction so much.
Yeah.
It's more of oh, my ghost is just resting, just like it's standing.
Yeah.
But other than that, we have Luke Skywalker grabbing a fucking lightsaber and then summoning an X-Wing, which I thought was dumb because she rode in on the silencer, right?
Yeah.
With the wave nav thing in the front of the viewpoint in the cockpit when he's driving. We see it. It's right there plugged in, and here's his window. It's right here. Mm-hmm. She's driving it, right?
He broke
she lands. What?
He broke it.
He broke the other one. She had the second one, which was in the silencer.
I guess it was.
Yeah, the first scene is Kylo grabbing the first Sith waypoint.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he plugs it into his silencer and drives off, and that's how he sees Palpatine, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it should have still been there.
So it's there. He had it.
Yeah.
So the second one is the one she gets, and then he breaks that one.
Yeah.
Right? So then she gets pissed.
Yeah.
She's like, ugh, right? Gets mad. Gets in his ship, which has the other wave 5 point.
Yeah.
She drives it. It's right there in the cockpit as she's driving. She's in space. Drives all the way. I don't know how long it takes. I'm assuming hyperspace, but I'm assuming you had at least 20 minutes to think, right? As you're driving through space and waypoint. She gets there. She's pissed. She torches the ship that she drove in on.
Yeah.
Right? And then she's going to chuck the lightsaber, and then that's when Luke stops her, and he's like, hey, everything you want is right in front of you. Legit, right there. in the torched starship that you came in on, everything you're crying about is right there. You rode in on it.
Well, you don't know. He could have.
And she's like, what? Yeah. And then she goes, and then she just plucks it out, and she's like, but I don't have a starship now because I torched it. And he's like, wait, baby girl, I got you. Get X-Wing because fan service, right? She's got to ride back on a good guy ship. She can't ride back on the silencer. She's got to ride in the X-Wing. And it has to fucking have the same connections, obviously, in that fucking thing too, so that she can use it.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a problem with that.
Also, I have a problem why she...
You don't say!
Why did she burn the ship that she came in on? That means she has no way of getting back.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Her plan apparently was to stay there and become a hermit.
Become Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. And then Luke Skywalker's like, don't bait me.
Oh, that was like an FU Ryan Johnson moment when she threw in the fire. He's like, "That's no way to treat a lightsaber."
Oh, I did like that. I did like. I'm like, that's the way. Yeah. But whereas before he's like, man.
Yeah.
Know?
I think everyone hated that,
Yeah.
including me.
I hate that. Waited 2 years for that.
But it also introduced a weird new force power.
So again, introducing another weird force power. Because then, if
this
you can
movie
physically
gave me
do
more
things,
questions than it did answers, man.
yeah.
A lot more questions than answers.
Well, that's the thing. Because if he could do things now, why doesn't he fight with her at the end with
Right.
Palpatine?
He legit was holding a lightsaber. Luke Skywalker was holding a lightsaber and he summoned a fucking X-Wing.
His own
Why
lightsaber.
can't he do that in a fight?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It's something I didn't think about. Makes me dislike the movie even more. You know, but I was thinking about this today. I think these 3 movies would be good. The only people who would really like these movies is people who've
never seen them.
only seen these 3 movies.
Yes. And that's what got
If
me
you haven't
thinking.
seen any of the other movies,
That's what got me thinking, and that's why overall I like the movie overall because overall it was a flashy, nice family kid film. It's a Disney Star Wars film.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like if
that's fine.
you're not thinking real hard about
Yeah.
what's happening or whatever, it's just like, oh, there's set pieces and there's action moments and there's drama and there's, good guys versus bad guys, whatever. If like you bring, say, a kid to that, or it's some teen's first time seeing anything Star Wars, I think they're gonna love the hell out of it, regardardless, right? So it's like it's something you can bring them to, even though you deep inside have that.
it
seeding.
is a very pretty movie.
it was nice looking.
like cats.
Not to get too ham-fisted into this stuff again because we didn't really go over too much, but the did y'all buy the transferring stuff to each other force?
Oh, you
teleportation
mean like the
stuff?
force, the FaceTime force? Well, they were connected.
Yeah, but like
So,
you can
okay.
also hand things to
Is
each other
that-
through that
Yeah.
FaceTime.
Sometimes though.
Was that just for story though? Is that a story mechanic, or is that like, what is the purpose of that?
Yeah.
Other than
Because they introduced it in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And when they did, I was like, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then Snoke was like, oh, I'm the one who did it. I was the one who's making you guys do it again. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So then how are they doing it in this movie if Snoke was the one who was making them
and if Snoke
FaceTime?
was Palpatine, right? Because Palpatine was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"I'm everyone you've ever heard in your head," which was Vader. Everyone, he's been manipulating them forever. Is basically what he's saying. So, yeah, how is he still maintaining the bond that
he's dead.
is f***ing him?
Yeah. It's dead.
Is it because he's just like, man, Palpatine needs to learn to stop channeling Force lightning when it backfires.
Oh, how about when he just destroys a whole fleet of ships and then Rey just holds it with the lightsaber?
Yeah.
And then, what is going on when that
Because she's
happens?
like, he's like,
God.
meh, and she's like, fucking blocks it with one, and then she's like, oh, bust out another. Boom.
How cool
And
this
then
is!
he's like, oh no, more, right? And then she's like, back at you, right? And then he's dead, right? What the f-? That's twice.
Yeah.
He fell for the same trick twice.
It's because Mace Windu told her to do it. Hey, use your lightsaber. She's like, oh, okay. And then some other Jedi's like, use another one.
so-
Okay.
Okay, so the second lightsaber, Leia's lightsaber.
Okay.
They just time dropped that, right?
Yeah, they never
Right?
they never said
Never-
anything about Leia's lightsaber.
Never had they talked ever about Leia's lightsaber, right?
Ever.
And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, by the way, while you're here, Leia's lightsaber's also here,
Dude,
and it's hidden for like a millennia in somewhere around here."
that scene though, like, I mean, they're getting really good at doing like the facial
CGI
stuff or whatever, the
Yeah.
CGI, like, it looked really good. I was almost like, can I stay in this moment? Can you make this into a movie? Like, just, I don't know. Like, I enjoyed seeing almost like a young Luke and a young Leia. And
Well, he looked good. She could look kind of wonky still.
no, you're okay. Technically, yes, you're right about that. But you know,
I-
it's kind of
I-
hard to
I-
tell because they have like the
yeah.
light from their helmets and they're, you know, most of it's obscured or whatever. But I bought it, right? Like
Yeah.
their facial
It's really good.
animations looked like really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd watch a whole movie on just them training or something like that. But I thought that stuff was
Plus, like,
was
a
really
huge
well
shout
done.
out to the whole thing for what they did with adult Leia. Like, honestly, it wasn't too bad in general. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised. I think that's probably another reason why the movie kind of sucked, is because they had so many of those loose ends. Like, okay, well, we got to do something with this Rose character over here, so that she's like useless because they don't have enough of like the time.
Probably. Yeah.
One, and then like the backlash they got last time from the last movie, you know. And so like, okay, let's have her here, so people were like, oh yeah, at least they still have the character, but they didn't focus any time on her whatsoever.
I think they said total like 11, 17 seconds of screen time
But
or
like
something.
irrelevant stuff
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like not even, and so they just f***ed themselves in the
Yeah,
head.
they did.
Well, yeah, I felt like they were tying loose ends for The Force Awakens
Yeah.
and tying loose ends for The Last Jedi. But let's tie everything up. Movie plus end of saga plus have our own type of movie. It was like
Yeah.
trying to do
Can I
so
talk
many
about
things.
one end I didn't really want them to tie, which was the relationship between Rey and Kylo?
Oh yeah,
Right?
I didn't even think
almost-
it was one before.
it just kind of felt forced.
thought
yeah. The
Like-
kiss was like
I felt like maybe there was hints of it in Last Jedi a little bit, but still, it's like to full on just like I'm just gonna kiss you when you're coming back to, like, you know, like I felt.
yeah.
I feel like they scoured Tumblr for like the best way to end this.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
basically what it- yeah.
You know what? The only
No,
one
no.
I like, the only character I
Because-
really like from all these new trilogies, really a lot, is Poe.
I used to like him. I felt like he was useless in this one.
Same.
Like he retrograded.
But he was a
Yeah, here's the
Spice
thing
runner.
though. Here's
he
the thing
was a
though.
spice runner, drug runner.
Thing is, I thought he was gonna be more like the Han, right? And she was gonna be more like a Leia in that situation. But I feel like, I mean, obviously, no screen, like very little screen time with them together. I mean, they were drumming it up, right? He's like the fucking Han Solo of the movie,
Well, yeah,
right?
but-
The rogue,
Yeah.
right? And it's like a rogue and this person who's all about well, I guess not the Force, but whatever, doing the right thing, I guess. Naturally kind of brings them together. But yeah, I mean, I think in another universe that could have maybe happened.
You
Maybe.
brought up another point that I remembered now I don't like.
What is it?
Okay. So, Finn meets another stormtrooper chick,
Yeah,
right? And kind of has like a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
was
thought they
almost.
were gonna go
It was
better.
almost like
Yeah, me too.
Like they were gonna hook up a little bit, but then
Yeah.
maybe not.
Mhm.
But okay, so then when she's telling her story, and he's like, oh, it was just a feeling, you know, and he's talking about the f***ing Force,
That's what I had a
Right.
feeling. Yeah.
right?
I thought he was talking about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
He's talking about the Force, and
Yeah.
she's like, and she's resonating with that. She's like,
Like
yes,
she
yes, like
understands.
yeah, we all felt it, and we laid our f***ing guns down. You know, I'm like, whoa. So this whole platoon of stormtroopers is just Force sensitive.
No, I don't think it was that. I think it was like it was like the good vibes, the good juju.
So was it more of morale, or
I think
was
it's
it
morale.
they're all fucking Force sensitive, and that's why these are the only ones that broke off? Because every other stormtrooper unit did not fucking rebel or whatever. These are the only ones.
No, I think it was just
Because they don't
morale.
mention
I think
they
it's a
don't
morale
mention
thing.
any other things. They don't mention any other. One platoon in the entire fucking empire
Well, I mean that's the only
just
platoon you
decided
know
to
about.
lay their.
But it's the only platoon you know about. There could be other platoons. that
They
do
never
that.
mentioned that.
Well,
Now you're just assuming things.
well, you're assuming too that they all are force sensitive.
Well, she was saying it when he was like
But
talking about the Force.
yeah, but
He's talking about how the Force felt within him, and she's like, "Me too. Yeah, we all felt that shit. We all laid our fucking guns down and spared these people and turned against our team."
see, that's what I think. What's the problem with the force now?
So,
it's
was
confusing.
it the Force that eventually turned this platoon, or was it them just all of a sudden saying, Are we the bad guys?
Well, that's what.
Should we stop?
That's what Finn did. That's what Finn did.
But Finn is force sensitive.
And there was one person, too.
Yeah,
because like with him and his platoon, you don't see any sort of inclination that these people have a strong connection to each other in general, right?
Or anything,
right? And so, just all of a sudden, one big group of people without, like, I'm sure.
But you know what would have made that sentence better? It would have made that scene better if she was like, "Oh, we all dropped our weapons because we heard of you, or we know about you. Like we know, like there's other
that would have been fucking cool because then that's word of mouth resistance that would have been building up." Which would have alluded more to the second film where they were like, it's in us all. Right? That little kid, force sensitive with the broom.
Yeah.
I definitely would have liked a better arc for Finn, though, man.
Well, because he didn't have any arc in the second one. It was just like...
He didn't have anyone to love either.
I mean, especially... Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why they introduced
all his
Jaina.
just... Nah. Maybe because he's just doofy.
It just kind of felt like he was just reduced to just yelling Rey all the time. Like, literally just yelling through most of the movie.
Like, obsessed with her.
Like, I mean, I love him. He's hilarious. He's funny, right? But it's not like he's all the comedy relief or something like that. But I kind of... I guess that's why I liked when they introduced Jaina for him or whatever, at least. What?
So that's what we got droids for.
C-3PO.
Yeah. Let's talk about C-3PO.
So dumb. I don't like how they made him extra funny and goofy this movie. And then they're like...
Because he's the only one that's been in all of the Star Wars films.
He's like, I can read it, but like it's not my program. It's like, okay, we're going to have to kill you. He's like, I'll do it, whatever. So they kill him. But then he's back again.
Hold on. That moment where he's like, I'll do it for my friends who I just fucking met like a month ago.
No, that was before, no?
Well,
oh, you meant a month ago.
They've only been like 2 movies together, and he's already like, you guys are like my fucking everything. You guys are Luke and Leia and Han and everyone. You're more important than them.
Yeah.
Fucking kill me. Like, what? I didn't feel that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I mean,
like,
okay, that stuff aside, I still liked that they finally gave him a moment to not just be a dumb boy.
But they gave his moment a fucking shitty one like this, where it's like I didn't feel anything.
Well,
but then again, I didn't feel anything for C-3PO, so maybe it doesn't matter.
Well, I would agree with you, but then they brought him back. It's like, oh, I can, learn new things, and then they officially brought him back when they're like, oh, R2 has all your memories.
Him.
So he never died, and that moment really isn't like.
Same thing with Chewie.
It's not a big moment for me.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, totally. He could have said, "Oh, I read Sith," and then boom, scene over. No Babu Frick.
Right?
No, Babu Frick.
I still, to me, it's still Baby Yoda, Babu Frick.
No, I love Babu Frick. He's better.
He's cool.
He's
better.
He knows a trade.
Better.
Yeah, see, that's my gripe with it. It's 'cause your thing was like you posted or whatever about Babu Frick.
Yes.
I was like, but he's
amazing.
But he's not better than Baby Yoda.
Cute.
He's not better than Baby Yoda.
Looks like an old man.
I know.
He looks like Benjamin
old
Button.
men are cute.
Oh, okay. Benjamin Button again.
Did you know who he was voiced by?
Who?
Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter.
What? Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Probably because I googled everything about him after the movie.
Oh
like
gosh.
literally on the car ride home. Babu Frick.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, why was he in the last battle? He had no reason to be there.
I know, but
He could have died.
That's true. I was like, why did they bring him along? Like, what?
just for
Hey, here's everybody. Everyone's here.
And then they just like, fucking, it's just everybody. It's everyone. Citizens, farmers, spice workers. Dude, you know what would have been better if during that scene and the fucking Razor Crest came out? That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Cool.
Yeah. I like how they had to have an in-game moment, but it was not as impactful at all as in-game. Because it's like, they're about to lose and die. Like, what are we gonna do? And then Lando's like, "Hey, kid, we're over here." And then Poe's like, "They're here." And he's all excited, but it's like, it's not an in-game.
It's very like Gandalf on
I felt like they they really led up to that too, because they're like, "No, they'll show up.
Yeah.
No, they'll be there. They're gonna be there. If not, we do it ourselves." And then they're fucking losing. It's like, oh no, we're losing. No! You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is a really nice kids movie.
Could you imagine how it would have been if
This
they
is not
had
a Star
had
Wars
everyone
for
shown
me.
up?
But this is
Yeah.
Everyone died. That's
Everyone
it.
died.
That's the end of it.
You would have had a lot more pissed off people
That
than
would've
the
been
ones that ended the
actually
movie
pretty
pissed.
cool. I don't know why. So at the very end, maybe this was just me, but my sister felt it too. When they're doing the force transfer to like bring each other back.
4 seed?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not forced.
It's canon. It's canon. 4 seed.
4 seed?
I genuinely thought they were going to do like a Romeo and Juliet thing where they could potentially live forever. They just keep, because I thought he would have died.
Just keep transferring
Immediate-
life
I
force.
thought-
Stop bringing me back.
It was like Spider-Man getting poofed away where he's like, everyone else is dead, but you're still here, Spider-Man. Is this for emotional impact or something? You know? And I thought they were just going to keep on, because he was there for like, what, a minute after he gave it to her?
Yeah, because they kissed and then he was
He
like,
smiled and all that. He was there
They
for a
kissed and
minute.
stuff.
I thought she was going to do it back, and they could have like lived forever, just 1 minute over and over.
Just fucking having a weekend at Bernie's each other for their entire lives. I don't
They could
know.
have potentially done that, right?
oh,
I'd rather die than have to fucking do that to somebody their entire life.
I gotta take a really bad babe. And then you don't 4 seed her back, and then she dies because you were taking too long for pooping.
She dies for
You're
real.
like, no. And then she's there as a force ghost, and then she nags you forever.
Plus, how much time do they have before like it's too far gone and they can't give the force anymore? You know, how long do they have to be
More
dead
questions than answers.
More, you're right. I have
well,
an
I'm
answer
sure
for
they can't
you.
be skeletons or anything.
No, yeah.
You had something, Caleb?
No.
I had
yes.
something.
Yeah, you did.
I had
You had
something.
No,
I had
Caleb
something
had
first.
All right, fine.
It was
All right,
me
fine.
first.
All right, fine.
Raise his hand.
Why is there another Death Star? And like, there's a lot of mini cannon Death Stars. Not all the Star Destroyers.
Well, I mean, they're just big Star Destroyers, right?
Well, they've had time to build them, right? They've been
Oh,
building
who
them
built
for
them, by the way?
years.
Yeah.
Who built all
the
these
acolytes. The acolytes.
Acolytes.
Who's manning all the ships?
Oh yeah, they never showed.
Droids.
The
There's
Force.
so many people.
Force
Who
man ship.
mans-
Force ship man. No, I don't know. It's a new.
That's
It's a new
lot
force
of,
power.
That's a lot of ships to man. I don't
Maybe
think
all those acolytes were force manning them.
Whoa. No, he had said, right? Didn't he get someone and he was like, no.
I know. It was the Snoke copies, the Snoke clones in there.
How many
Snow
snow
clones! Okay, canon fucking snow clones are driving all of those
All
Star
the new
Destroyers,
Star Destroyers.
and they're manning all of the crew too. Yes.
Canon.
They're all in gold robes. The other one has red robes, gold leader, red leader. They're all
Deformed,
little...
all fucking. You know what bothered me?
What?
Chewbacca dying
Well, not really.
or not dying.
Mm-hmm.
Because they, they make it an effort to show you that Chewbacca gets put on the ship,
Right.
right? And then they show that ship fly away, and then Rey's like, "Yeah!"
Force lightning.
Right.
Force lightning.
She grabs it, and then her and Kylo are struggling.
Give me my toy.
She ends up force lightning it. It blows up. We have a sad moment, and then and they're like, "Oh wait, no! Chewie's alive! He must have been on a different cargo ship." What? You know, like
I want to rewatch it because I don't know if they showed
They
other transports.
showed another one. There was
Oh,
two.
they really?
I think there was two.
When they show them at a
then let him.
distance.
I mean, just let him die, man.
I thought that would have been cool. Make a risk, let him die. It would
No
have
one
been
died.
not like. I would have preferred something more like, intimate.
Like have
seeing it
that
happen.
be
Yeah.
well, maybe, if anything, maybe be more impactful.
Yeah,
like,
more impactful,
Like that,
'cause-
maybe causing her to stray more to the dark side. If that was going to be a thing,
I
where
feel
she
like,
really strayed or
like
something.
You're kind of like it's kind of like Naruto, right? Where you're like, oh, fucking guy goes all out, he's gonna kill me, I'm dead, and then it's like, oh no, I'm back, I'm alive, And it's like
no one,
because it's a kids show and you can't really kill him
no one
know?
ever really dies, Rick.
because you can't really kill him because it's a kids show. So they're doing the same shit because you want to sell stuff to kids, right?
You know what I think it is? Is they
So you can't kill off the fucking dudes because then the kids are like, I don't want to bite Chewbacca, he died.
all their little
They're
their animated
Chewbacca's
movies.
dead, Mom. Don't bite me, Chewbacca. So they don't want Chewbacca. But they're like, hey, kids, he was on a different fucking cargo ship. He's alive. They're like, okay, give me Chewbacca.
I
I'll
mean, they
take him.
killed people in Endgame though. Like they killed Iron Man, but
It's a little bit more.
Yeah, those mean more though than this movie. So,
But yeah, I guess we'll see. With Endgame, they did it more of like, hey, now we're gonna post up this B tier hero and make him S tier, and then we're gonna kill his ass, and then everyone buy it.
you know why they didn't kill Chewbacca? Because they want to make more animated movies and TV shows and comics about people who are still
that's
alive.
why they said Skywalker at the end, because they wanted to have more animated TV shows and everything, because they're like, this is the last Skywalker story.
Which
Technically was true, but then they gave some bullshit with no, I'm a Skywalker too. So the Skywalker name still lives on, and we get to have more Skywalkers out there.
this feels more like the Palpatine saga.
You're a Skywalker, dude.
Because he's manipulating in the prequels. He's there
Yeah.
in the original trilogy,
Yeah.
he's there at the end, and
And I guess he truly dies in the last
and
one.
he truly dies in the last one.
So-
He's there manipulating everything. So this is the Palpatine saga.
Dude, holy shit.
It's not the Skywalker saga. It's the Palpatine saga. That's what they made this movie. Rey's
Oh my
Rey's a
God.
Palpatine. We start with Rey as a Palpatine and end with her.
Oh my fucking God. We had prequel and sequel set up Palpatine,
Yeah.
and then
And
original
Palpatine comes on top.
Yeah, just holy shit.
Maybe she's manipulating people to think she's a Skywalker, but she's a Palpatine the whole time. And then later on, she's going to turn them in the next trilogy.
Who?
Right?
Oh, they said they're not going to do a big saga film for a long time.
They shouldn't. They need
I agree.
Please, no.
they need to.
No,
they
we
need to wait a
fucking
good
break,
long
man.
while. Yeah, we
Give
need
me
a break.
more Mando.
I'll have to wait
Yeah.
till next year for the next Mando season.
I'm not caught up yet.
What?
Oh, you
Sorry.
fucking. I was gonna spoil shit too, dude.
I was
Glad.
thinking about doing
Glad.
it too.
I was gonna say
It's a
stuff,
good
man.
thing.
I was gonna say stuff.
They'll
It's
say
a
stuff.
Good thing I did not.
The last one I saw is the
Nah.
jail breakout one. You said?
That one's good. But then it gets much better and then great.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something to talk about at the end of that fucking season, though.
Yeah.
Definitely that last scene.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
on my list.
Baby Yoda poops and the Mando's got to clean the poopy diaper.
Yep. And then he uses the Force to throw it at
I
him.
heard someone punched Baby Yoda. Is that a thing?
I'm not gonna say any spoilers or
Okay.
anything.
No
They
spoilers.
punched him dead.
God. Before we head out, anything you really liked about this movie, at least?
I liked the puppetry.
Dude, I really loved.
Puppetry. They didn't put Bubba Frick as a puppet.
Is he a puppet?
Isn't he?
He's got to be. Yeah,
I thought he
he
was
totally
saying-
felt like a
I-
puppet. He
Oh,
was
no.
definitely not CGI.
No.
It felt super
He's a puppet.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
I think that was the most like authentic part of it. I could easily have seen.
Okay, so
I don't know.
things that I liked. Sorry. Things that I liked. The visuals, all the cinematography, f***ing felt Star Wars.
Yeah.
All the grand f***ing
Cool
scale
action shots and
scenes, some
everything.
of those f***ing, all that shit. Whoever was in charge of the art direction and all that shit, and the way it looked and the f***ing direction of the f***ing camera was f***ing great.
Cinematography?
It was all f***ing great.
That's what that's called.
Caleb.
I
Yeah,
started off
he just
with.
said that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he said
I
that.
started off
I
with
went in and out.
cinematography,
I
sir.
went in and out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
My bad.
Was on fucking point, man. They nailed that shit because that shit felt Star Wars.
Yeah.
It did.
But the writing felt fucking not Star
It's the
Wars.
opposites.
Yeah.
That's what bugged me.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I liked about it, pretty fucking movie, man. It was really good. Looked really nice. Enough to look over all its faults. I mean, if I was watching it with my kid, I don't give a right? We'll put on Star Wars, whatever. But I'd prefer the originals.
Yeah, that's the question. So, out of all three trilogies, which would you say is your favorite now?
That's obvious. It's originals.
All right, fine.
There's no
I mean,
competition.
the originals.
I wanted someone to say the prequels.
No, it's no competition.
What about the worst one? The prequels or these?
Prequels would probably be the worst.
prequels are these.
That's hard.
That is hard.
Because there's no plan on these. These are just
Yeah.
I mean,
whatever they want
prequels
to
gave
do.
us Darth Maul. Gave us.
Prequels had
They gave you Hayden Christensen.
they at least have like sort of storyline.
That's the only.
That's the only fucking reason, man.
They gave you Jar
Hayden
Jar.
Christensen were never fucking born,
Just
and
opened up
someone
the
else
wrong
took
can.
up
I'm
that
sorry,
fucking
Caleb.
role, man. I swear to God. Those prequels would have been great. Dude.
I don't think so.
I think so.
If there was a different actor, it still would have been the same.
No, man.
More or
You're
less.
talking about putting a fucking potato as the main character, dude. You're putting Darth Vader, dude. Darth fucking Vader as this fucking potato actor. I can't act for shit.
I still have I have
He's
a lot
like-
more complaints than Hayden Christensen.
Oh. Is that bad? Dude, legit, he acts like that.
Yeah,
It's so frustrating.
Let me ask you something. When you read the title "Rise of Skywalker," who did you think they were going to be?
I thought it was
Everyone
a
thought
Pornhub
probably
video.
well, because we didn't know Rey was a Palpatine, right? Did you assume like, oh, because Rey's going to be a Skywalker? Probably.
Kind of assumed that.
Yeah.
Which ended up happening, so.
Which she has a yellow lightsaber now, and they don't explain.
And they don't
why
explain
has
how
it.
she got a yellow lightsaber.
How she got it, or why she has it, what she needs it for.
Well, I mean,
Well, yeah, I
it's
guess
a
you
Jedi
can use-
weapon.
yeah.
But, I mean, she could, every Jedi, we'll see, well, now that's, I don't know, is that still canon? Every Jedi has to build their own lightsaber, right?
I think that's kind of canon.
So overall, yay, nay, thumbs up, thumbs down. How many
Nay.
out of how many?
3
3 out of 5
out of 5. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
for me.
for you.
2.5 out of 5.
I give it a 3 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Oh, what did you say?
2.5
Okay.
out of 5.
Well, my scale's on a 10.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I don't do 10 scale.
My scale's more accurate than Frank's.
Gives a more precise
Technically, if you're
number.
doing halves from 1 to 5, that's still a 10 scale. So
No.
you could still do the 5.
No. It was like a 7.
Oh, that's
Oh, so like a
That's
3 out of
3
5.
out of 5.
So 3 out of 5.
No.
It can be done. Trust
No,
me.
I think 3 could be like a 6.5. Or 7 is more like a 3.5. I would
Yeah.
say.
2.5.
It's a 3.5.
7 is a 3.5.
For you guys. For me, it's. See, now you're fucking with my scale.
Your scale's dumb.
Your scale's dumb.
You know what? This movie's dumb.
I
5,
agree.
okay, because mine has like a 5 would be just kind of like a fucking shitty tier movie.
Oh,
Where
no. Have it upswing.
It's something that's put on Lifetime, and it's a tier movie that you don't want to fucking
I have it
watch.
opposite. 5 is the best and 1 is the lowest.
And then I have
Wait,
under
what?
that.
What?
He's 5
Under
out of
that,
10.
it's like under that
confused.
it's how bad it is.
I'm
You know,
confused.
then you go into how bad it is, and then from 5
Oh, I
up,
see.
it's
Yeah, 5
it's
out
more
of 10.
positive. But how positive is it?
Oh, he's talking about 5 out of 10.
Yes,
5 out
he
of
took
10.
his
I thought he was.
scale.
I'm explaining my scale.
Sorry,
So
I
I'm
thought you were talking
ignoring
about the
you.
5
Yeah,
scale.
Rick's weird 10 scale.
I was confused.
So
like-
f- your scale, I'm going on my scale,
Like
and
Gabe-
on my scale, it's
That makes
a
sense.
right.
What's
Wait,
Well, yeah, because from 5 to 10 are all decent, but different levels of decent. And on yours, it's kind of just like
weird? It's more like you're making hard choices. It's like, what's the difference between a 2 and a 3? Like, you know, what's a 2 and a 3, Rick?
For me,
Yeah. What's a 2
3.
and what's a 3?
3 movie. Let's see.
Let's break this scale right now.
I ain't breaking. I got it all.
Give me, you know what? Even more. Give me. Don't worry. All this is getting
You
cut out.
want a
What?
1 to
I like
0?
it.
You want fucking 0 to 10?
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
I don't know about 0, but I'm gonna start on 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just give me 1 through 10. Don't give me 0.
I'm gonna give it to you, motherfucker.
0 is 0.
A few moments later.
To be continued.
I'll start on this list,
Okay.
but we'll post it. We're gonna post a fucking screenshot at the end of this fucking thing of my list here, and Frank. Continue.
Okay.
what score did he give it?
Out of your 10.
7 out of 10.
7 out of
3
10.
out of 5.
Oh,
I think it would be a flat 7.
Cool. All right.
Flat 7.
Cool. All right, guys, that probably does it for this discussion on Star Wars. I bet we'll talk a lot more in the future. Probably is just our initial thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it. Anything else you guys want to say about it? That's it. We're done?
I think that's it.
Let's take it home.
Disappointed.
Disappointing.
That's the word.
We want better. We want better.
Mandalorian is doing good for now.
Mandalorian's good. We'll take all the Mandalorian you've got.
Just look, you want to do another fucking big ass series? Hit up Jon Favreau, bro.
Yes.
Have him do the
Everything
next
he
trilogy.
does is good.
Boom, you're set.
Yep.
Gold. Pay him whatever he wants.
And on that note, guys, we're going to go ahead and take off. Thanks for tuning in and checking out everything we do here on this channel. We'll see y'all next time. Bye. Sweaty hands. Sweaty hands.
Sweaty hands.
So we're talking about Star Wars, right?
Talking about Star Wars.
Star Wars. We're live, is what he said.
We're live on Twitch right now.
If
If y'all have any questions, send them in the chat. I'm reading your chat on my device here.
Oh.
That's just what they say all the time.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you know, like TK421 asks, what's your favorite animal? Well, see, guys, thanks for the donation. I like dogs. I'm a dog person. I always love them dogs.
Oh, hold on. A question here sent to us via our Twitter feed. Harry Balzania on here wants to know, why is Babu Frick a thing?
Don't talk about Bob.